I grew up super normal, like middle class family. In my opinion, I had the best childhood. My parents were together. They got divorced later in life. I wasn't, living in the country, so I didn't even know that was happening. And now they're both happy, so it's all good. But I grew up with my parents together with an older brother, Emil, who's 5 years older than me. Denmark is super safe. As you know, we have free healthcare, free school. The taxes are super high, but I do think in a country like that, it works. And like to be raised there was probably, I'm the best thing that could have happened to anyone, but to me especially, like super grounding, super normal, either rode the bus to school or walked or biked. Even when it was fucking snowstorm, my dad would be like, get on the bike, you gotta get to school. Just super normal living, which is also why I needed to leave.
You wanted more for yourself.
I think the Danish culture, I love Denmark, I love Danish people, but there is a certain culture that I just could not really relate to when I got older. Like it's very traditional
for sure,
but like it's not like when I came to America and I walked into a store and people were like, hi, how are you? I was like, what, you're asking me how I'm doing? Like what? Why?
well that so because I don't remember the exact number in the rankings. I know it's very high. I believe Finland is one.
We got beat, but we were number one for a while for the happiest
people in the world,
yep.
right? And so,
but also a lot of suicides. So there's, a little.
Well, define a lot because per capita, I'm sure it's got to be fucking dramatically lower than any other.
I think the winters, anywhere with long ass
for sure
days
yeah.
and winters can really
and also
affect
the fact that
health.
you don't talk about mental health the same way as you do, I think, in America. I think, it's getting there and people are getting more emotionally available and intelligent, but like there's still so much more room to grow in that part of the world, in my opinion, but also everywhere. But yeah.
And is it huts, igloos? Like what is the land?
Yeah, I lived in an igloo.
Got it. Okay, cool.
It was cool. No, it's flat. The land is flat. Like it's just super normal.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in a house with my mom and dad's room, my brother's room.
It's one of the things I love about her, Mike. You can tell this girl doesn't walk with an air of privilege.
Yep.
She's fucking grateful for everything.
For sure.
To
like,
recognize that and live in that space instead of thinking you deserve anything, I think definitely came from how grounded she was, and good job to her parents. And Anamita, and yes, her dad's name is Yes. Her dad's name is Yes.
No.
Yes.
Maybe.
No, actually,
her dad's name is Yes.
Gratitude is the bedrock for happiness. Let's be honest.
Bro, she started saying thanks for everything. She thanks me every time I pay for a meal. This is my fiance. She's every time I pay for a meal. Thanks for dinner, babe. Come on, dude. Like that's so cool to me, and it came from I think how grounded she was as a child and just lived a very normal life. But she had that zest for life that somehow, at the age of 18. This young Danish girl who was able to make it in the specific industry moved to America by herself without knowing a single person
I did not
or
know one
English.
person.
Dude, she's an 18-year-old girl who doesn't know English or anyone, moved to America to pursue a life that she didn't know existed yet.
So run me through this. You get off the boat, Ellis Island. What happens next, right? You go through, you feel like, did they change your name at the port?
No.
I may be a few years off here. I'm sorry.
They used to do that back in the day. Way back in the day.
This is talking, I think, 1800s. Okay, yeah. So,
No.
So you, where do you land?
I landed in Miami. Miami was my hometown in America.
Horrifying.
That's where her agency was, no?
We're in Miami right now, by the way, a place that I historically have tried to steer clear of. I've recently found things that I like about Miami as well.
Great. I landed in Miami. That's where the agency that provided my visa was. Didn't speak English, got off the plane with one suitcase, didn't know a single person, had an address and a piece of paper because back then we didn't have iPhones, and have money for a cab, didn't know what ground transportation meant. So literally exited at departures somehow. And I'm standing there and all these cabs are going by being like, no, we can't pick you up. We can't pick you up. And then I start crying because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And this taxi pulls up and he's like, hey, you have to go downstairs to get a cab. And I was like, address Euclid Avenue. And then he was like, okay, just jump in. And he took me to the model apartment where Diana, who just had a baby, Spanish Diana, shout out.
Spanish
Shout out Spanish Diana.
And she barely spoke English either, so we were communicating with our laptops walking around. And then Lauren Burns from Texas moved in, and she was the first girl that was like, "You're here now. You got to start speaking." She's like, "I don't care what it sounds like, but you got to just start talking." She started taking me out, and then the rest was history.
Dude, I'm not found out, but like she's fucking Danish. I said, "Where's your accent?" I can't tell you have an accent. She lost it over the years, but I knew there would be some videos online where young Nina had a young Danish accent, and they're there.
No.
There's some gold. She was on Lip Sync Battle, which I also found.
That video's insane.
Against David Spade.
Against David Spade,
Yeah.
crushing it. Hey guys, if you like that clip, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see more zany clips, click the video right here.